AAPEX 2021 is just around the corner. Why you need to be there to stay ahead of shifts in trends on this episode of AAPEX TV 360. Joining us on this episode today is an expert panel of guests. Please welcome Bill Nalu, President of Interstate Auto Care, and Brian Plott, Executive Director of the Equipment and Tool Institute. Gentlemen, let's start with the obvious. How excited are you for AAPEX?
We're very excited for AAPEX. It's having to miss 2020 for our organization. Our major events were canceled, and we were all heartbroken when AAPEX got canceled. But getting it all back with the significant trends that have been going on within the industry in the time that we've been locked down, it's going to be a really great show and a great event with all the changes that the AAPEX team have implemented. So we're very anxious to get to Vegas and see what happens.
Bill, I'm going to ask you to elaborate on how AAPEX helps when it comes to training.
I think it's important for shop owners to understand that they should be going to these events to train as shop owners, not as technicians, not to go pick up the latest and greatest on diesel technology or EV or what have you. It's not a bad thing to get training on sort of where the industry is going from a business standpoint. But I think we as shop owners have to become specialized at what it is that we do. And what we do happens to be running a business. And if that sounds limiting, if as a shop owner, if what you hear is somebody saying to you, you're not going to be able to work on as many cars as you become more of a business specialist, I think you have to look inward and say, well, then who am I? Either I have to have somebody come in either have to bring somebody in that's going to run my business so that I can work on cars, play with cars, which is my real love, or I've got to run this as the business that it has to be.
Brian, what about the importance of staying on top of developments of tools and equipment?
The vehicles and the technologies that drive the vehicles are changing so rapidly. There's mountains of technology that's being thrown at the repair industry that they really need to stay on top of the emerging technologies and the directions that the car makers are going with those technologies. They not only have the vehicle park that's pretty vast in terms of its age, but the new technologies that are coming are going to force the hand of a lot of repairers. So you can't let it get away from you because it's coming faster than it ever has in the history of automobile production. So again, AAPEX is the place to come to see those latest in technologies, what's being done to deal with and service the vehicles, to provide the shops and the technicians with the technical data and the equipment that they need to be able to properly repair the vehicles safely as possible for the end user consumer.
Bill, what would you say to somebody who might still be considering whether or not to attend?
That shop owner that's sort of teeter-tottering on showing up to AAPEX. Maybe it's the trip. Maybe it's the cost of this trip. And I would have to go back to what Jerry Trulia said way back on one of the CARM episodes. And he said training doesn't cost, it pays. And if you as a shop owner don't understand the opportunity that lies before you this year, let alone that next year, there may not be a next year. Who knows what happens? So show up to this thing.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate you joining us. There is still time, so make plans for November 2nd through the 4th. Register and reserve your room now at apexshow.com. Then share that you'll be there on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn using the hashtag AAPEX21. That's it for this episode of AAPEX TV 360. We'll see you at the show.